the links that you on the channel. Come remember here over at subscribe. Sorry, I got a mailbox. By all means, mail me some comics. So this is exactly what we need in mainstream comics, which translates to, oh, this is exactly what we're not going to get. Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. So Chuck Dixon is going to make this role playing game. He is a legend. By all means, please send me his comics. The dude is an absolute great writer. What did he write? Ravage, Kill All Man. I love that. That is kind of a Lost World adventure. We need more of that. Which, again, like I said, it's like the things you enjoy, the things you know, you look at and go, oh, this Jules Verne, H.G. Wells kind of Henry Rider, Haggard, Arthur Conan Doyle kind of vibe. Yeah, we need more of that. Like, no, that's problematic because that's like toxic masculinity or like whatever. So it's just like fun, simple action adventure stories about, these hot jungle chicks running around in, their bikini essentially type of stuff. We can't, no, that's like problematic. But it sells, so people want it. Well, they don't know what's good for them because we need to make their decisions for them. The thing is with these SJWs is it's not like they don't buy something, it's they don't want you to have something because they're just absolutely the worst people on earth. So this is, Chuck Dixon is what the mainstream needs exactly, but they won't hire him because he's the wrong politics and the wrong color, and he probably doesn't hate himself. And the same goes for Mike Miller and EVS and all the others in Comicsgate. If the mainstream wanted to try, honestly, I think it's too late to turn the industry around because you lost generational sales, and once you lose that, oh man, there's a lot of infrastructure, and I'm not a comic expert with the infrastructure stuff, but there's a lot of infrastructure that goes along with selling that. And mainstream comics is losing generational connections, and they're losing the infrastructure that goes with selling comics, and they're losing the vibe. It's like, I even if they hired all the people in Comicsgate to try to turn it around, I don't think it would happen. It's like they're better off in Comicsgate owning their own IPs, selling things on their own. They could try to turn it around, but all those guys are in the Blacklist universe for having the wrong politics, for being, mildly conservative. Sounds inconceivable, but that's the mainstream industry. It's just incredibly full of these insane levels of soy boys. So Dixon has got a few of these Conan books out there, and they're set to be turned into a role-playing game source book. And Dixon is doing Conan, which is a great character that is absolutely perfect today because we need characters like this as a counterbalance to the feminizing Western world where they're turning boys into catamites. And everyone is engaging in all this attention-seeking kind of Weimar Iceman type of behavior where the boys think they're girls or they don't know what a girl is, but they think they are one. It's like, you're just doing that because you want attention, aren't you? It's not a phase, Dad. Yeah, it's a phase, and unfortunately, it's like you're doing some permanent stuff. Back in my day, it was, I don't know, like leather jackets and pierced ears or whatever. It wasn't quite the same permanence of removing your testicles or your breasts. That's kind of a one-way street. You're never going to unsuck a dick, so you probably want to think twice about that one. So this is the kind of character we definitely need more of. Instead, you get gay Iceman and soy feminist Spider-Man, and who's like, I think there's an image of him wearing his girlfriend's T-shirt, and it's like, just have him wear her panties and just go full hog with it. Or Batman crying about his period or just being a total pussy, because the people who are writing comics are complete and total bleeding pussies, to the point where they had Conan in one episode, I think from Dark Knight or Marvel, where he had his diverse girlfriends, which is cringe, as is almost all diversity coming from these soy boys. It's going to be just Mary Sue Purse Puppy cringe levels. And just have Conan wash the dishes or something and have him wear like a Kiss the Maid thing. It's just, that's how bad these people are. Anything cool that you give the SJWs, they will find a way to screw it up because, like, fundamentally, they hate all this kind of stuff. A man and a woman together, yeah, that's problematic. Someone's going to have to be trans or something. Because modern soy pussies don't know how to write masculine characters because they hate themselves or they hate that part of themselves and they're trying to suppress it as much as possible. It's like, you can just be yourself. You don't have to give in to these societal pressures. But I mean, if you're in the mainstream comic industry, I assume it's just a dystopian nightmare of just the worst kind of just all Mark Waid types. So you get men acting like PMSing women and breastless women acting like angry men. It's just, in Sodom and Gomorrah world, everything is inverted. As above, so below. Comics needed to be taken over by normal men who would love themselves and their tribe, not these absolute nut jobs like Mark Waid and Gail Simone. But honestly, the more I think about it, I think the time to save comics would have been like 20 years ago. I don't think you can turn around the mainstream if it wasn't for keeping the IPs alive for films, which themselves are in trouble if you're looking at Marvel and DC. Honestly, a lot of this pop culture stuff, it's why having a channel is kind of fun, because you look at it and it's like it just gets worse and worse every year. So why don't we get more stories like Conan? Because it's a basic, simple, fun story about an adventurer who can be a little bit of a scumbag. But the reason he works is because he's dealing with even worse scumbags. It's like pirates fighting privateers. It's all kind of slippery. It's not just good versus evil. No, that does look good. Because neither is really on your side. You're just kind of along for this ridiculous ride of wizards and dragons type of thing. Conan is there to bang as many girls as possible and cut the heads off of evil wizards and corrupt kings and possibly kidnap virgins and make little Conan babies. And, every once in a while you might have a little virtue signaling in the episode where he kills some slavers and sets the slavers free. But, if you're being honest, it's like, it's not going to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed men who are the slavers and that kind of stuff. So this is all comics have to do to be successful, but they just can't be cool because they're pussies who hate themselves. It's that, like, there might be coolness at the core of all these people, but they're so brainwashed by all this kind of this kind of bullshit propaganda that they're deep in an echo chamber. It's like being a pussy is their default setting. They find something fun and they just apply their globalist Frankfurt School psychobabble to it, and they say everything is problematic, but their argument never logically leads to a conclusion. It's just they start with a conclusion and conclude with it, and you go, but your issue, rule, analysis, conclusion, you never actually, no, it's a sophisticated conclusion that your tiny little mind couldn't make the connect. This is why the left can't meme, because they can't précis a summary. They can't do that because they have bad ideas that don't withstand a vigorous cross-examination. That open marketplace of ideas scares the shit out of them. So instead of just admitting that they're these brainwashed, filthy pussies parodying bullshit propaganda, fortunately, they've ruined comics. And I say fortunately, they've ruined comics so bad that people decided, we could maybe write our own stories and get on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey and promote them that way. And then maybe we could talk to each other and form these networks. And I don't know who came up with the name of Comics Gate. How stupid. The Heather Antoses of the world. We'll call it Comics, or maybe it was Bleeding Cool. I don't know, but it's so stupid. How effing stupid. Yeah, it's a network of people who are just selling comics on YouTube. Yeah, we're going to have to shut that down. That's not allowed to have fun, simple stories. Oh, it seems like they're having a good time selling their comics. It's making a living. Like, what's the problem? No, you don't understand. It's not that we don't want to buy the comics. Like, of course we never buy the comics. We need to buy Deadbeats. Someone sent me a PDF of Deadbeats. I couldn't even get through the whole thing. But they don't want anyone to read Comics Gate comics. You don't understand. Myers was arguing with Mags Asagio like 5 years ago. Okay, was it like a back and forth? Well, yes, but Mags is up above Myers on the oppression hierarchy. So, but it's just two adults having like arguments back and forth. It seems like that's pretty reasonable. No, you just don't. Yeah, I don't understand because it doesn't exist. Anyway, they ruin comics, because they ruin comics, they created Comicsgate. I guess good for them. So it's really Comicsgate is amazing to be in on the ground floor, to be there at the very beginning and to watch something develop. Like, this is probably the only time in my life where I'm going to see this online phenomenon develop, where I caught it at the beginning and I saw it all the way through to, at least the peak of it. It's phenomenal to see how humans behave. It's like the SJWs made Comicsgate. It wouldn't have been possible without them, not at this level. It wouldn't have been impossible without Mark Waid and Cena Grace and Heather Antos and Gail Simone and all those weirdo SJWs who brought oxygen to this tiny little fire. Or who's that girl? That cosplayer? I keep trying to remember. She's a fat cosplayer. I can't remember her name. I'm not gonna say her real name. I remember her real name. I don't remember her online name. Anyway, so the game company is taking the story of the Conan, the King Adventurer, and making a fun game out of it, which sounds really cool if you're into games. I'm not into board games, so don't send me board games. Just send me comics and stuff. Mainstream comics, sometime in the last 20 years, forgot how to have fun, where everything has to be propaganda to them, and it kind of became an increasing purity spiral because they're insane. They're absolute brainwashed, useful idiots. They're kind of trapped into this thing where the boobs had to get smaller and smaller. I know that's a weird example. I know. You think I'm obsessed with titties. Maybe a little bit. But the boobs had to get smaller and smaller. And then if you tried to go in the other direction, it would make everyone, like the editors and the art directors or whatever, would kind of look at it and like everyone would feel that kind of pressure of it went from the ridiculous, admittedly, D cups in the 90s. That kind of stuff was nuts, 80s and 90s. And it just got smaller. So like a more manageable C cup. And then recently it kept just getting like smaller and smaller, and the girls got just looked more like men with a weird pictorial type of stuff, and men look like women, and it's just like people aren't into this because we're not all on board. All this kind of like bullshit nonsense. Like this is what more people would be into. I don't know who did the art on that. It's kind of nice. This just looks like a fun comic. Can we just get more fun comics? No, absolutely not. Oh, really? Because I think something like this would sell pretty well. Yeah. That's why we're not going to do it. Because we need to have like, I don't know. I don't even know what mainstream comics are doing now. It's just absolute garbage. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys all next episode.